Dennis Kneale with MontyTV, and we've got a rather interesting story for you here. Al Goldstein is the CEO and co-founder of Avant Credit, consumer lender online. Now, Al, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Dennis.
It sounds like a pretty, frankly, old solution. I mean, plenty of banks can make loans online. How is it that Avant Credit has been able to build this business?
Well, for one, thank you for having me on. And I'd say banks have largely abandoned the consumer market. We focus on the average consumer, people that make between $40,000 and $70,000 a year. What we're trying to do is just transform their borrowing experience by letting them borrow cheaper and easier, which is something banks just have stopped doing largely.
You've loaned out $700 million in 2 years. Now, where did you get the $700 million to loan?
Yeah, so we've had great success raising equity. We've raised nearly $300 million, or actually over $300 million of equity capital. On top of that, we've raised nearly $1 billion of debt capital to help loan money to consumers, and our plan is to double that over the next 6 to 9 months.
So this is no little fledgling startup here. This is a major company. What's your annual revenue?
Well, we'd like to still fight, have that startup fervor, but we're nearly $200 million of gross revenue on a run rate basis. Those
150,000 loans you've made, what percentage have defaulted?
Defaults on average are about 6 or 7% a year. On an annualized.
For you or for the whole industry?
For our customer segment, but what value the value we bring is using advanced analytics and machine learning technology to really be able to price an individual consumer better than anybody else. So it really varies depending on where you are on the chain.
Now that's kind of interesting because one thing about the credit market is great algorithms and great data have allowed lenders to really reduce the risk of default. But you're saying that you do an even better job than the state of art now. What is the special thing that's allowing you to do an even better job to individualize it?
Well, I think we're really in phase 3 of the consumer lending universe. The first phase probably ended in the 1970s and started in the 15th century. Phase 3 just started a few years ago. So we're really on the forefront of using machine learning advanced analytics to get as much data as possible.
What was that middle phase 2?
Probably 1970 to 2010, where people were using algorithms for the first time, like FICO, to try to price risk. And the reality is we all know FICO is outdated. It's all about using as much data as currently available to find a unique credit perspective for every customer. And it's all about iterating quickly and just continuing to push the different data sources you have access to.
So Avant Credit's 6 or 7% default rate, how does that compare with the consumer loan industry or credit card industry?
Well, every product is different, and so it's hard to compare apples for apples, but I'd like to say if you take FICO as a proxy that everybody knows, our credit scoring internally is about 50 to 75% better than FICO at predicting the individual risk of loss for a customer.
All right, who ends up buying you? Are you so big? I mean, should JP Morgan Chase or Bank of America come in and buy you and have you sub out their consumer loan operation?
We're just not focused on that. We're focused on building a really transformational business that can change this universe. We're already international. We're not only in the US, we're also in the UK. So all we're focused on is providing more value to more consumers globally.
How long does it take me to apply for this loan online?
Well, so half our consumers get approved in real time. The application process takes less than 5 minutes. The idea is to get 80% of consumers to be approved real time with no human interaction by the end of the year.
What percentage are you at now?
About half, about 50%.
And you'll be up to 80 by the end of the year, you hope?
Well, that's the goal.
That is most impressive. Wow. Do you follow up to find out what people are doing with this loan money? Yeah,
so we ask every consumer what they're actually taking the money for. And it's really a mix. Roughly half of our customers use the loans for debt consolidation, consolidating those more expensive credit cards. The other half just use it for life expenses, medical bills, home repairs, etc.
Right. When you founded this company with your co-founders, what was the key inspiring thing? Well, what is it that you wanted to do? I had thought that entrepreneurs, they think, I want to get rich, let me find a way to get rich, but clearly that's not the case.
Yeah, it'd be funny if it actually worked that way.
Yeah.
Like if that actually led to success. No, so we've had a great story because my 2 co-founders were actually my former interns at my first company. This is actually my 3rd business, and 2nd in consumer credit. But my 2 co-founders were actually starting a different business, and one of them needed a loan because they weren't paying themselves. They went through a physical branch, went through the excruciating process of having to drive there, having the computers be broken, having to drive back. And then that's the formation of Avant Credit. We just said that process makes no sense.
Here at the Montgomery Summit, as I talk to CEOs and founders of these companies, I'm hearing this more and more. Guys who they're going along in life, then something comes up that is just a horror story, and it should not be that hard. There's got to be a better way, and that was the inspiration here.
No, it exactly was. It was just such a painful process, and we had the unique skills to actually be able to tackle this problem, because the problem is complex. We have barriers to entry all over the place. And so it's been fun trying to tackle those barriers.
All right, well, best of luck to you here at Monty, and that's one heck of a story. Thank you very much, Al Goldstein of Avant Credit. And we'll be back with more on MontyTV.